Hello everyone. My name's Arfa and we're going to get started with yoga in just another 1 to 2 minutes. Just waiting for a few more people to log on. Hi Sammy. How's everyone doing tonight? Alright guys, so all you're going to need tonight is just your yoga mat and some water. If you normally use blocks or straps, you can definitely have those with you too. We're going to just give it 1 more minute. Hello. Okay, let's go ahead and we'll get started. I'm just gonna adjust this a little bit. All right, so let's all start at the top of our mats. Standing with our feet hip width apart, have your palms facing forward. We're gonna relax the shoulders up, back, and down. And then closing the eyes, start to bring your awareness to your breath. And just breathing slowly and deeply here. And in this position, let's just start to sway a little from side to side on our feet. Just centering our weight. And when you found a spot that feels good, we can just hold there. And keeping the eyes closed, just breathing through the nose, just a few moments at the beginning of our class. Starting to lengthen the breath. Slower inhales, longer exhales. And before we begin moving, let's set an intention for our class today. So a unique intention, it can be a word, a feeling, something that you want to manifest or bring more into your life, something unique to you. And then we'll slowly open our eyes and let's inhale, sweep the arms up, palms touch at the top, and exhale, bring the hands through, back to heart. And again, inhale, arms up, exhale, hands through heart. Let's do that again, adding on, inhaling up, and this time exhale, hinge at the hips, forward fold. Let your head relax, knees can stay bent. Inhale, half lift into flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. Let's do that again. Inhaling up, open the chest. Exhale, hinging from the hips, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way back up. Exhale, hands to heart. One more time, inhaling up. Exhale, fold. This time you can straighten the legs a little more. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, this time, stepping back to plank pose. So we're going to come down onto our knees for plank. Shoulders are right over the wrists. And let's just push our hips back to our heels, forehead to the mat, child's pose. Inhale, come back to kneeling plank. Exhale, keep the elbows in, lower down to the mat. Inhale, baby cobra, lift the head and chest. Exhale, let's press back to child's pose. Resting your forehead onto the mat, and if your forehead isn't touching the mat, you can stack your hands on top of each other, rest your forehead on top of your hands. And then we'll bring our hands forward, come on to all fours, and let's tuck our toes, spread the fingers wide, and lift the hips up and back, downward dog. Start to pedal out your heels, bending and straightening opposite legs. And then we'll straighten both legs, heels are reaching towards the mat for downward dog, looking towards your thighs, and let's all give our head a shake no, and a nod yes, relaxing the neck. So in downward dog, you want to imagine you're in an upside down V shape. And then from here, bend the knees, look between your hands, step forward, coming back to forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway, hands to your shins. Exhale, fold. Inhaling all the way back up, arms come up, open the chest, push the hips forward. Exhale, hands to heart. Once again, inhaling up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands come down. And this time we'll step our left foot back, coming into kneeling lunge. Let's bring the arms up, knee over ankle. Exhale the hands down. Step to your plank. We'll bring the knees down once again. And let's keep the elbows in as we lower down to the mat. Inhale, baby cobra, lift the head and chest. Exhale, press back once again to child's pose. One full cycle of breath here. Let's inhale, come forward to all fours once again. And then tucking the toes, lift the hips up and back, downward dog. From downward dog, bend the knees, look between your hands. You can step or jump forward to fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way back up. And exhale, hands to heart. Once again, inhaling up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, bring the hands down. Step your right foot back this time, kneeling lunge, lifting the arms up. Hands frame your front foot and step back to plank. And this time you have the option to hold your plank with the knees lifted or down, your choice. Let's all use our triceps, engage the core, lower down. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, press back to child's pose. One cycle of breath. Inhale, forward all fours. Exhale, getting ready for our upside down V, downward facing dog. From here, bend the knees, look between your hands, step or jump forward to fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart. So that was our sun salutations. Just checking in, how's everyone doing? Feel free to have water at any time, and remember that there will be lots of options provided, so you can go at your own pace and choose whichever one works for you. So let's continue on where we left off. From here, let's bring our hands to heart. Step back with your left foot for warrior one. Front toes face forward, back toes face the top corner of your mat, and let's bring the arms right by our ears. Relax your shoulders back and down and hold. palms together. You can either stay like this, or we're gonna try folding over our front leg without resting our body on the thigh. So still using your strength to hold you up. And let's lift back up. And we'll transition to Warrior Two. Adjusting your feet. So now your back toes are facing the long edge of the mat. Arms are at shoulder height. Let's relax the shoulders. Gazing over your front fingers. And let's flow a little here. So inhale, straighten the legs, bring the arms up. Exhale, bending back. Inhale up. Exhale, back down. And one more time up. And sink back down. See if you can lunge a little bit deeper. And then from here, let's straighten our front leg, shift the hips to the back of the room, reach as far forward as you can, setting up for triangle pose. Bring your right hand down, left arm up. And then we have options here as well, so you can place your hands on the inside of your leg, and we can even come a little bit higher, the inside of our thigh, if that feels a little more comfortable. Holding here. And then we'll all extend our triangle. So this time your top arm comes right by your ear, parallel to the ground, extended triangle. Holding, use your core, nice and strong. And then we'll inhale back to Warrior Two. From Warrior Two, bringing your front arm to your front thigh, and your back arm comes around and up, side angle. Option one. Option two, hand comes to the inside of your leg. And option three, you can bring your hands all the way down. Your hands coming down, bring your hip down with you. And let's bring the arms back to Warrior Two. And then from here, bring your hands onto your hips. Turn both toes to face the long edge of the mat. And then inhale in. Exhale, we'll fold halfway down. Flat back, straight legs. From this position, bring the hands to the mat. You can bring your hands onto each, around your ankles. And then use that to just gently pull your body a little bit closer. On your next breath, bring the hands back to your hips. You're gonna rise all the way back up. And let's heel toe the feet in. And come back to the top of our mats. So we're still gonna work on this same side. So hands at heart, let's bring the left leg back again. So same side. This time both of our toes are facing forward. Let's bring our hands to opposite elbows behind our back. Take a big inhale in. Exhale, fold halfway down. Flat back, straight legs. From here, you can stay right here if you feel enough of a stretch, or bring the hands down to the ground or on your leg, pyramid pose. Here we want to maintain a fairly straight leg, so if your knee starts to bend a little too much, you can bring yourself up a little bit higher. On your next breath, bring your hands to your hips. Let's slowly rise back up to standing. And then we'll bring our feet together at the top. And then we're going to bend the knees. And it's like we're sliding our hands across the mat, lifting up, bringing the arms by our ears, chair pose, holding here. Keeping your chest lifted off your thighs. If this is a lot on your shoulders, bring the hands to heart. And then we're going to bring our big toes together and heels apart. So your knees are touching now. And let's bring the left elbow to the outside, or sorry, right elbow to the outside of our left thigh. So we're in a twisting chair pose. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. You can look over your left shoulder. And let's come back to center and return to standing. Bring your feet back to hip width. And inhale, bring the arms up, reaching up and back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, and let's step our left foot back. And instead of kneeling lunge, we're going to try doing a full crescent lunge with your back heel lifted nice and high. If this is a lot, you can bring the knee down. Let's try to work on this one if we can. Relax your shoulders back and down. And exhale, hands frame the front foot. Step to your plank. Engage the core. Keep the elbows in from your knees or toes. Lower halfway down. Inhale into upward facing dog. Straight arms, lift the knees off the mat. Exhale, downward dog. Bend the knees, look between your hands. Step or jump forward to fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. Exhaling, hands to heart. So we'll do that sequence on the other side. So this time, we'll step back with our right foot for warrior one. Pressing both feet into the mat. Imagine you're squaring the hips towards the front of your mat. Staying here, or bring the palms together, and we're going to fold over the front leg. Inhale to lift back up. Exhale, warrior two. Let's do our little warrior two flow. So inhale, straighten the arms and the legs. Exhale, back down. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Once more, up. And sink back down, trying to lunge a little bit deeper here. And then from here, we'll straighten the front leg, shift your hips back, reach as far as you can. Find a position on the floor, on your legs, setting up for triangle pose. And if your hand is against the leg, press your hand into your leg, revolve your body open, look up to the ceiling. Whichever triangle version we're doing, let's extend our triangle, bring the top arm by your ear parallel to the ground. And inhale back. Let's come back to warrior two. And then from here, front arm comes to your thigh, back arm comes around and up, side angle. You can stay right here. You can bring your hand to the inside of your leg or all the way down. And let's inhale back to warrior two. And then bring your hands to your hips. Turn both your toes to face the long edge of the mat again. Inhaling in. And exhale, fold halfway. Let's try to keep our legs fairly straight. You should feel a stretch in the backs of your legs. And you can stay right here, bring the hands to the ground or maybe around your ankles. On your next breath, hands come back to your hips. Let's slowly lift back up. And heel toe the feet in. We're gonna come back to the top of the mat. And still working on the same side, you're gonna step your right foot back this time, both your toes face forward. Hands come to touch opposite elbows. Inhale in. Exhale, fold halfway down. You feel a big stretch in the hamstrings. Stay right here, or fold all the way down. What we're working towards is bringing your nose to your knee. And let's inhale, lift halfway, bring your hands to your hips, and slowly come back to standing. Step the feet together, and we're gonna sit back into our chair pose. So let's sink the hips low, sweep the fingers across the mat and up, sitting into your chair pose. Now let's see if we can sit maybe half an inch lower or an inch lower than we did in our last chair. Engage your leg muscles, use your core. And then we'll bring our big toes together and heels apart, hands to heart, and take your left elbow to the outside of the right thigh. Inhale and exhale to twist, looking over the right shoulder. And let's come back to center and slowly return to standing. Bringing the feet back to hip width apart. Inhale, bring the arms up. And this time we're going to interlace the fingers, press up and back. Standing chest opener. So as we're lifting into this standing back bend, imagine that you're lifting from your chest. Reaching up and then back. And release the arms. Let's do that again. We'll take it to the side this time. So interlace the fingers, press up, take it over to the right side. Big stretch on your left. And come back to center. Taking it over to the left, big stretch on the right. And come back to center. And then this time we're going to bring the arms down and we'll place them on our lower back. Fingertips are pointing down. Squeeze the elbows in like they're trying to touch. And on your next inhale, push the hips forward, open the chest up towards the ceiling. Again, feel the lift, like it's happening from your chest. Deep breaths here. And release. That was standing camel pose. From here, inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. And this time we're going to step back with our right foot, coming into our full lunge. Option to bring the back knee down, but let's try to hold this here. Full crescent lunge. Opposite side. And exhale, hands frame the front foot. Step to your plank, knees or toes. Whichever one we're doing, lower halfway down. Inhaling, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward dog. Taking a few breaths in downward dog. Since our bodies are nice and warmed up now, you might feel like you have some more room or some more space to go a little bit further in the stretch. And then bend the knees, look between your hands, step or try jumping forward to forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. So we're gonna work on some balance now. So we're gonna come to the top of our mats, and let's bring our hands to heart, and we're going to lift up our right toes, spread them wide, ground them into the mat. Taking your left foot, bring it to the inside of that leg. Choosing any foot placement, so your foot can come a little bit higher. You can even bring it up to your thigh, if that's available. And wherever our foot is, we're just gonna find a spot where we can balance, hold for a few breaths. And we can lift our arms up, we can open up the tree, so choose any hand placement as well. For a little bit more of a challenge, you can try looking up. That usually makes it a little bit harder. And then for anyone that would like to take this one step further, so if your foot is on your thigh, we can gently grab onto the ankle and you can start to bring it towards the opposite hip, setting up the side of the foot and coming into another variation of tree pose like this. So it's like a half lotus tree pose. So just seeing how this feels. And if we're not there yet, that's okay. We're still working on our balance. And you can continue opening your knee out to the side, working on your balance and your hips. And then let's all release. We're going to continue working on this side. I'm going to turn back this way so that we can have a better view. So now let's bring our hands to our hips. And we're going to step our right foot back maybe a couple inches. And let's start to shift our body weight forward onto our front leg, which is the left foot. And as we do that, it's like we're a seesaw, and our back foot starts to lift up. So we're coming into warrior three pose. So let's continue lifting that back leg, but still keeping the hips squared to the mat. We're working on bringing that leg up to hip height. So if we're only lifting a little bit today, that's okay. Still working on balance. And once you're there, we can bring the arms by our sides, fingers reaching towards the back of the room. Your knee can have a slight bend, that's totally okay. And you can play with a few options here, so your hands can come to heart. Your arms can come by your ears. I find this one is the most challenging one. Or they can be by your side. And let's slowly come out of that one. Now we're going to go into a very similar pose to warrior three, still working on the same side. So let's try that again, now that we've got a bit of the hang of it. So again, hands to your hips, and bring that right foot back a little. And let's start to shift the weight forward. And we're becoming that seesaw again, so your upper body is tilting forward, your back leg is coming up. And this time we're all going to keep our arms by our sides. And to take it to one step further, we can interlace our fingers behind us and start to reach away and back with the fingers. Now as you do this, seeing if you can bring your upper body down a little bit more, your back leg a little higher. Toppling tree pose. And let's come out and shake up the legs. And we'll do one more on this side, and then two more on this side, and then we'll take it to the other side. So, face the camera for this one. Let's bring our left leg up, right leg stays down. I think I mixed that up. Left leg, right leg stays down, left leg comes up. Option 1, stay right here. Option 2, with your hands interlaced underneath, we're lifting the knee up towards our shoulder. You can have the hands underneath, you can have them like this, right under the knee too. So that's option 2. And then we can hold here, or we can take the leg out to the side with your hand resting underneath the thigh. You can stay like this. If you'd like to try, you can grab onto your big toes and start to, the camera might not catch this, but straighten the leg out to the side. So I'm just gonna come a little bit here. And this might just have to do with the length of our arms or legs. So we can even hold onto your thigh like this and extend out. And we'll release. And then still staying on the same side, right side, I'm just turning this way for a better view. Bring your hands back to your hips. Hands to opposite shoulders, inhale up. Exhale, fold halfway down. From here, come all the way to the ground. So we've been here before, pyramid pose. And from pyramid pose, let's bring our hands slightly in front of our foot, a couple inches. We're going to start to shift our weight forward again on that leg. And as we do that, the back leg comes up. What we're working towards is bringing it up to hip height. You can stay here. You can start to open your hip to the side of the room. Keep your foot flexed. And then you can stay here or bring your hand to your hip as one hand stays down. And the final expression would be to bring that top arm up for half moon pose. It's okay to wobble and it's okay to come out of it and then come back in. We did a lot of balancing poses on this foot already, so it's okay if you're a little fatigued. And let's all come down. Both your feet come in line and slowly rise up. Bring the arms up, palms touch at the top, and hands to heart. Let's return back to the top of our mats, and we're just gonna roll out our standing leg. And let's continue balance on the opposite side. So this time, again, hands at heart, lift up your right toes, or your left toes, gosh, and spread them wide, ground them into your mat. Just do the opposite leg that you haven't done yet. And the opposite foot comes to the inside of your leg. Choosing where you'd like to place that foot. Remember, anywhere on the leg, just not on the knee. Whichever version we're doing, we're opening up that knee to the side while still maintaining our body facing front. And if you'd like to try the tree pose challenge, if your foot is above the knee, let's grab onto the ankle, bring it across to the opposite hip. Very gently and carefully setting up for tree pose variation. And let's all release. We're going to continue working on this leg. Getting ready for our warrior three pose on this side. So let's step back with the opposite foot. And we'll bring our hands to our hips and start to shift your weight forward onto your front leg. Remember that our balance is different on each side. Once your leg is at hip height, keep the foot flexed. We want to keep our hips leveled and facing the ground. And then choose where you'd like to have your arms today. Arms can be by your sides, hands can be apart, or they can come by your ears. And let's slowly release. Come back, and we're going to go into our toppling tree pose, so very similar to warrior three. So returning to that same foot stance, hands to your hips. And on your next breath, let's start to shift our weight forward. Your upper body is working towards becoming parallel to the ground, and the back leg is also working towards becoming parallel. So we're always working towards. And then if you'd like to take it to toppling tree, let's interlace the fingers behind, lift away and back. And we'll slowly come out of that one. And coming back to the top of our mats. And then this time with the left foot down, lifting the right leg up. Holding here, option one. Knee comes up, option two. And let's try to find a focal point to gaze at, something that isn't moving, to help us balance. And we also want to start to slow down our breathing in our balance poses. And we have the option to take it out to the side. You can stay here like this. And if you're going to extend the leg, you have the option to grab onto your big toes or straighten it with your hand underneath. If you have a strap, that would, of course, be a great option as well. And releasing. And lastly, we'll do half moon on this side. So left foot in front, right foot back. Inhale in, exhale, fold halfway, and then all the way, pyramid pose. Feel free to hang out in pyramid pose for this entire time if that's what feels good. Otherwise, we're all going to bring our hands forward, shift the weight forward, start to lift that back leg up. And then option to open your hip to the side, option to bring that hand to your hip. And for the full expression, that top arm comes up, half moon pose. So if you have a block at home, you can actually practice this. And it helps because the block raises the ground for us. And release. Bring the feet together. We're in forward fold. Slowly roll yourself up. Arms are by your side. And let's inhale. Arms up. Open your chest forward. Exhale, diving into your fold. Inhale to lift halfway. And we're just going to hold this position here. So keep the legs straight. flat back. For a little bit more, you can bring your fingertips down if we can still maintain that flat back position. Hold and breathe into your hamstrings. And exhale, release, come to forward fold. We're just gonna hang out in this forward fold a little bit longer. Relax your head, relax your neck. And then let's inhale halfway up one more time. And exhale, hands come down, and let's all try jumping back to plank. And then bring the knees down, and let's have a quick water break before we get into the next section. How's everyone doing? Turn the light on. Okay, so we were in our plank pose, and that's what we're going to continue working with. So we're going to hold our plank. Again, a couple options here. So knees can be down, knees can be lifted, and you can do either of those from your forearms as well. So find the position that you want to do today. Shoulders are right over the wrists or elbows. Engage the core. And we're trying not to sink our belly down too low, but we're also not trying to stick our bum too high either. So let's find a nice strong alignment. And let's just hold right here. And remembering that our head is an extension of our spine, and we want to maintain it in the correct alignment as well as our spine. Hold and breathe. If you're on your toes with the knees lifted and it's getting a little too challenging and you want to give up, then just come down to your knees, but don't let go of the plank. Imagine that you're pulling your belly button in towards your spine. And release. We're going to come to child's pose. Bring the knees wide, toes touching at the back, hips come back, forehead comes down to the mat. And in this child's pose, let's walk our hands over to the right side, feel the stretch on the left. And bring the hands over to the left, feel the stretch on the right. And coming back to center. So let's come to all fours, and we're going to do a pose that sort of builds off of plank pose. So we're going to start with our forearms down on the ground, and let's extend our legs back so our toes are on the mat, knees are lifted. And from this position, we're going to start to walk our feet up towards our body. So you might only come up a few steps, and that's fine. Really press into your elbows. Feel the strength in your shoulders. You can just look towards your thighs. So this is dolphin pose. Keeping the head lifted off the mat. Holding a little bit longer. And release. You can walk our feet back and bring your hips down to the mat. Shoulders are over your elbows. And coming into this gentle back bend. here. And let's bring our hands in a little, come back to all fours. We're gonna try dolphin pose again. So let's bring our hands down, and this time you can interlace your fingers at the top, extend the feet out, and let's start to walk the feet in. Keep the head lifted, and hold. So it's a little similar to downward dog in a way. It's almost like downward dog from your forearms. And it builds a lot of upper body strength, which is what we can use for more challenging poses like inversions. And we're gonna walk our feet back again and bring the hips down. Coming back to our Sphinx pose. And again, bring the hands in, come back to all fours. And then let's tuck our toes, lift the hips up and back, downward dog. From downward dog, let's raise our right leg straight up and back. So at this point, we're still keeping our hips squared to the mat. And release down your right leg. Let's try that with the left foot. So downward dog, coming into three-legged dog, lifting your left foot up, still having your foot flexed. So we're not opening our hip just yet. And release down. Coming down onto your knees and just shaking out the wrists a little, because we're going to go back into downward dog and work on a few more things. And let's come back to all fours. Again, tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back. Let's inhale, raise the right leg up again. And this time we are going to open the hip to the side. And then bend the knee, bring your heel towards your bum. And imagine this leg is very heavy. It's like, almost like it's trying to pull you down to the ground. And then straightening the leg, bringing it back down. We'll try that on the other side. This time left leg lifts up. And you can open the hip to the side. Bend the knee, heel comes towards your bum. And that leg is heavy, it's pulling you down. And release back down. And then one more thing we're going to do from here. So let's inhale, raise the right leg up. And exhale, step into the outside of your right hand. Bringing the back knee down. We're setting up for lizard pose. You have the option to stay here. You can come down onto your forearms. And you even have the option to lift the back knee up. Hold and breathe. Imagine that you can breathe right into your hips. I said that once while doing yoga with a 10-year-old, and she actually started breathing onto her hips. It was pretty cute. And then let's lift our back knee up, and we're going to take it back to downward dog. And we'll do that on the other side. Left leg lifts up, and exhale, step it to the outside of your left hand. Knee can come down, forearms can come down, and your back knee can lift up as well. And when you're ready, let's lift the back knee up. Come back to downward dog. Now let's bend the knee, look between the hands, and we're going to step forward to our forward fold. And inhale, come back to standing, just briefly, hands to heart, and let's bring our feet as wide as the mat. And your toes are slaying outwards a little. From here, we're going to come down into a squat position. So we're going to work on garland pose. So let's try to bring our hips down and elbows between the thighs. And if this pose is not feeling good today, come back up to the standing version of it. And you can just hold this one. But if your hips and your knees feel okay, let's come down to a seated squat. So you're using your elbows to press into your thighs, opening up the hips. It's a big stretch. Deep breaths. And then we'll slowly come back to standing. Bring the feet back in. Bring the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees. Let's try jumping back to plank. And bring the knees down. Push your hips back, child's pose. I'm just taking a moment to check in, notice how you're feeling, how you're breathing. And let's inhale to come forward and exhale, coming to a seated position. We're gonna have our left leg extended. Bring the right foot to the inside of your thigh. Turning your body slightly towards the leg that's extended. Sitting up nice and tall. Inhale in and exhale. Hinge from your hip. Try not to round the back too much. Reaching your chest towards your thigh. You can hold onto your leg or your foot if that's available. And once again, working towards bringing that nose to your knee. But yoga is a journey, not a destination, so that's why we always say working towards. If you flex your foot, you'll feel it more in your calves as well. And let's inhale, come up. You're going to stay on this side. Turn your body to the space that's in between your two legs. And with your left hand on the inside of that leg, start to slide that hand down. Your arm comes towards the ground as your opposite arm comes up and over, right by your ear. It's like you're pressing your arm into your leg, revolving open. And what we work towards here is eventually bringing both hands to your toes. And let's slowly come out of that one. And we'll do that on the other side. So this time your right leg is extended. Your left foot is on the inside. And let's inhale in, exhale, folding down. And let's inhale slowly, come up. And then turning your body towards that space between the legs. Your right hand comes to the inside. Press your hand into your leg to open your chest and then slide that arm down. As you do that, bring the opposite arm up and over. Big side stretch. And here we're looking for length and space rather than just aiming to get the hands to the feet. because then we could be crunching or collapsing, and we want to maintain that openness and space. And release. And then we're going to come to a cross-legged position, and I'm going to see if the dim lights if it won't be too dark. Oh, it's fine. So we're going to come into our relaxation portion of the class. So if you want to put on an extra layer or socks or anything to stay warm, you can do that. So we're sitting in a cross-legged position. Keep the eyes closed. Bring your awareness to your breath. Just breathing through the nose. Noticing how your body is moving as you breathe. Noticing if you're feeling more open in certain areas. How your heart rate is. Just take a few moments to conclude our class, just the same way that we started. And when you're ready, we'll slowly open our eyes and bringing the hands to heart. Thank you everyone for joining this evening. My name is Arfa, and I normally teach at the Pickering and Ajax locations. The light in me honors and recognizes the light in each and every one of you. Namaste. So I hope you enjoyed this practice tonight, and don't forget to take a sweaty selfie and send it to the Women's Fitness Instagram page, and tell all your friends. And that's it for now. So hope to see you guys soon again. And take care, everyone. Bye.